So take me back. You graduate UT Austin. You're looking for a job, and
I'm finding that the value of my experience and education didn't hold a lot of water in the professional world here. That was the same in Austin. I got better pay working for a drafting company rather than an architecture firm by a large margin. Um, I worked my way through school, and that was important for me. But I had a fair amount of experience doing architectural drawings, so I felt there was some value in that and the quality of my drafting. But that didn't carry off very well. I think they were accustomed to students coming in, interns, and uh, I needed to have some income to support myself and my obligations. So I was looking for something that might help, and I found Growald Architects. Sam Fowler, in particular, who was the person that interviewed me, was a little more accommodating. Even that was kind of lean compared to other career fields. But in the creative arts, that's the way things tend to start. And yet I needed to earn more.
yeah, you wanted. But you land your job at Growald Architects.
Yes.
And was this complex the
No.
first, or how
No.
how long
this,
were
this
you
came.
into?
This came 2 years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was that like when it landed? The project landed.
Trammell Crow primarily had this vision of doing a complex that would support the arts of video and film production, even sound, music. Martin was very good about making comments that got published, and usually were sound comments. They were warranted, and I think his experience with Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, which was a world-renowned architectural firm in New York, working with major clients, clients that had pedigree, recognized clients, and so when he came back to Fort Worth, he was able to join a firm that was already existing, and being the marketeer that he was and the strength of character, he wound up taking over the firm basically. I mean, and starting his own eventually, or from that, got his foothold in there and made his name, his persona, familiar with the local architectural society and the patrons. He was a good salesman, but he also wanted to do good architecture. I remember having a conversation with the office manager, explaining that Martin was sometimes difficult to work for, but he respected him because he really wanted to do good work. There were other firms that would, because it was going to cost more to do this or make changes, wouldn't do that. They just wanted to make sure their profit margin was
Right.
accepted. Martin didn't care that much about that. He cared more about what we were putting out. And Sam Fowler respected it, and I came to respect it as well. Um, he had interesting ambitions for the work that came out of that office.
What do you remember about working on this project?
I remember that one of the architects that worked there was a designer. His name was Jim Bransford. He had done much of the design, directed by Martin in some way, but he was a creative guy that came up with these concepts. He did an initial concept for the soundstage, but it was familiar kind of design. For instance, where the vault is, he had a strip window for light to come down through a clear story. It didn't bring your attention to the building in any significant way. Martin came up with the idea of an oculus window on the other side. And all of a sudden, bam, you got something that we hadn't seen normally. I got to detail what it was. And the way the sound stages were, they weren't stair step. They were kind of split. And Martin came back and put them in progressive blocks. That again added some
character.
character and interest in the building itself. I did the kind of fenestration, the rustication joints. That was actually Martin's vocabulary for tilt-up wall construction, where he had big concrete panels that had no really architectural texture or expression, or something that you could see from the street and appreciate the scale. And I was free to develop that. I did that with the motor bank as well. So there were certain things we did. And the systems that Trameco was familiar with, he did a lot of warehouses in the area. He did a lot of tilt-up wall. They were cheap constructions, but there was economy to it. There was logic to it. The problem with it was hard to find any kind of real spirit or feature that really stood out with any kind of character. The building across the way here, the one with the wall mural, we were searching for a vocabulary that would give it interest. We played with brick, fenestration and relief and that sort of thing. And then I was inspired by an artist that became very well known for in New York or big cities like that, where you had these towers that were wall to wall, and one of the buildings might be demolished and you left a blank wall. Richard Haas was commissioned to, well, I think he sold himself that he could make that blank wall look like a building. You see it in the Sundance Square with the cattle drive on the side of that bookstore. There was a building next to that building, and it was a blank wall. He made it look like architecture, and then he had the mural for the cattle drive. That was something that gave Fort Worth some sense of,
Personality.
When the Tandy Center, I don't know if you remember, where they used to have lights on the two towers that were there. During the stock show, it'd celebrate the stock show.
Or Christmas.
During Christmas, they had the beautiful little single candles with the little light on the top of it. To me, that was so special.
Yeah.
We lost that.
Yeah.
That was something that really gave us something to share with the community and the city, and visitors that came to the city. I don't know if you knew this, but Martin Growald did the master plan for downtown with the brick pavers, the planters, the trees. Look at it now.
Designed with purpose.
Very special.
Yeah. Growing up, you and I, you had a habit of taking me on road trips and driving me around, not only just DFW, and pointing out certain things, features, buildings, but also on the road trips that we took, like to Colorado or whatever. And always felt like, I remember sensing that you were a little disheartened that I wasn't as enthusiastic in the moment at the time, but you were trying to instill some sort of appreciation of what was out there.
I just thought it was an opportunity.
Yeah, at the time, looking back, you were trying to teach me something. And where did that come from, and what was it? In your own words, can you tell me what you were trying to say?
I think I recognize things, and it could be just nature, like, that were special. I found pleasure in it, an appreciation for what somebody created that was unique or different or just well done, and something that wasn't just cookie cutter kind of decorative stuff. That was, everybody's doing the same thing. Oh, it's popular here, we'll do the same thing. The original is always better than the copycats. And I remember when you and Beto used to hang out a lot, and I saw the videos that were done, and I always wondered why you were never in front of the camera. It wasn't until you were an adult that I actually asked you, why was that? And you explained it to me. He said, Dad, I wanted to be the one that controlled that camera.
Yeah.
With me in architecture, I grew to appreciate architecture. I originally wanted to be an automotive designer. And then I realized there aren't that many automotive designers out there, probably, you know. So I thought I happened onto architecture by chance. I took engineering drafting in high school. We did architectural, simple architecture, mechanical, and other kinds of drafting. Then I placed in regional, and we went to state. And at state, I saw these delineations of architectural structures. And that's when I realized that's what I want to do. I wanted to be creative. I wanted to have the opportunity to be creative. And I really didn't understand architecture.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a while to better understand and appreciate what architecture can be. We see it in the historic buildings in Europe, around the world, the great cathedrals, the Eiffel Tower. It can be engineering. It could be the bridges that Calatrava did for Dallas, and buildings and structures they did around the world that people appreciate and experience. And I think I was trying to share my joy of that with you and my understanding of it with you. Mm-hmm. And maybe you were too young to understand it then, but I think you came to understand something.
I was
over
listening,
time.
but I probably wasn't processing what exactly was going on at that
and
time.
you were very young.
Yeah. What's at the core of your passion for architecture? It's like it's intentional. It's curiosity. It's rooted in something.
It's a purpose. It's a purpose that when I do it well, I feel lifted. And I do sometimes sacrifice to try to get to that point. Spent a lot of sleepless nights or very little sleep for periods of days and stuff. Mm-hmm. That happened in college when I was in studios. Probably more so for me than students that didn't have to work. But I found it worth it. I found it worth the sacrifice and the effort to do that. And
looking back, when you were on this project, what did you imagine was going to go on in here? What were you anticipating, or did you?
Well, my contributions were rather minor than the concept. Mine were the detailing the railing and the elevate, doing the ink drawings for the elevations or site plan, that kind of. But minor stuff, not the concept. That
But you were part
later.
of a project.
I was
supposed to deliver something once it was done.
And I understood what the directive was, what the expression was that I was receiving from, say, Martin or Bransford. I understood what they were trying to do, and I was trying to help them do the work. They needed someone that could take a repeatograph pens and put it on paper to help them.
Did that spur any curiosity of what kind of films might be coming through here, or were you curious, or were you just
focused at the task at hand? I understood the goal. It took time to see the realization and to see this building in place to really fully come to understand it. It's kind of like you. I was there and it's all coming. Mm-hmm. It's like the master plan for downtown Fort Worth. There was a concept. I remember downtown Fort Worth at 5 o'clock would die. There's no life in it. It wasn't like an international city that was vibrant and living. Mm-hmm. But architecture can contribute to that. Yeah. The sense of place, the sense of enjoyment.
When did you notice that I was starting to see things the way you saw things and the way you worked? Did you pick up on anything like that, or was it when I said I wanted to be behind the camera, or it was like When did you notice
I think
something?
that was the beginning of it. I think when you did your little first film for University of Texas, that was an inkling of where you wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to be able to create.
Kind of like you.
It wasn't just the mechanics of the camera, but what do you do with it?
Coming back here, what kind of memories does it spark, or does it? Like, what do you?
I feel proud that I was a part of it. Something that had merit and that had a purpose and helped be the seeds that help grow that industry in this area, in Texas even.
It's gone through a lot of changes.
Yeah, and it should be flexible to do that because times change, technology changes, opportunities change, but it's grown, and the opportunities have grown, and the industry has grown, and the talent has grown. All of it, it's that mustard seed.
What do you want me to walk away with from today's conversation?
I want you to think a little bit about our families, your grandfather, your grandmother, my parents, and think of where they started. Mom was born here. My dad immigrated from Mexico when he was 3. Your grandfather was from Mexico. The life challenges that they had to face, and maybe have a little bit of a interest in exploring, and maybe trying to revisit that and maybe do something with that, because I think there's a rich history that we've seen. This country is built on immigrants. It's rich because of what they bring with them, the hard work and the sacrifices and the obstacles that the challenges that they had to face, and they did it in spite of the odds. Reflect on your family roots a bit. I think that's something I didn't do in my youth, and I wish I had. I wish I'd asked more questions and had more answers. I see what you do in this industry as part of the arts. They have the capacity to give life and purpose that influence people, and an expression or maybe a focus that are important. What you do and the quality of what you do, if it's intended to have a purpose and meaning, it needs to be expressed, and it needs to be expressed with the best of your ability, with a focus on all the nuances of life and humanity. This kind of industry is a good communicator, a good teacher. Has the potential to do that. It has potential to do much worse things. The worst of the easy sell kind of thing, the little gimmicks and that are transient. They pass and they fade. But things that have really sense of purpose to influence the good in us, the merit of us all, matters.
Well, Dad, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate the time.
Thank you. Thank
Love
you very
you.
much. I love you too. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for the opportunity.